Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're doing something a little different. We're going to look at your financial journey like it's a giant obstacle course. We're going to map out the exact hurdles you need to clear, moving all the way from defensive money retention right into offensive wealth generation. The goal here is to cut through all the noise out there and give you the precise framework you need to successfully navigate these hurdles.
Okay, let's dive into this. What if one small money mistake was keeping you from becoming financially free? You know, when we think about financial ruin, we almost always imagine these massive, dramatic catastrophes. But the reality? Financial freedom is usually blocked by just one small, recurring error that quietly compounds over time. So today, we are systematically covering the 5 absolute biggest money mistakes people make, and more importantly, exactly how you can avoid them.
So here is the very first trap on our financial obstacle course. Mistake number 1, spending everything you earn. We really have to frame this as a foundational defensive error. If you're doing this, you're literally stopping your wealth-building journey before it even has a chance to start. I mean, you simply can't run the rest of the course if you trip right here at the starting line. A lot of times, this sneaks up on us through stealthy lifestyle creep. You know how it goes. You make a little more money, so you unconsciously buy a bit more, matching your spending exactly to your income. It sounds totally obvious, but it is without a doubt the single most common roadblock people face.
To get past this, you need a fundamental mindset shift. The default trap for so many of us is spend first, save what's left. But the real remedy? You've got to flip that equation completely. Save first, spend what's left. By doing this, you're making paying yourself the ultimate priority, not just some afterthought at the end of the month. When you automate those savings before the money even hits your checking account, you take away the temptation entirely. You just force yourself to live on whatever is left over.
And that brings us to our second defensive hurdle. Mistake number 2, not having an emergency fund. Listen, unexpected expenses are an absolute certainty in life. They aren't just a maybe. They happen to absolutely everyone. Your car breaks down, a random medical issue pops up, the roof springs a leak. If you don't have a buffer in place, you are entirely exposed to the elements. You basically risk derailing your entire financial plan just because of one bad month.
And this brilliantly illustrates the magic number you need to know: 3 to 6. That is the exact number of months of living expenses you need to aim for to create a true, solid safety net. We're not just talking about keeping a few $100 tucked away in a drawer. It's a calculated, serious buffer ready to deploy. When the unexpected happens, and it will, having that 3 to 6 month cushion ensures you don't get knocked completely off the course and forced to rely on credit.
Moving further down the track, we hit a seriously dangerous liability. Mistake number 3, using credit cards carelessly. Now, notice it doesn't say using credit cards is inherently bad. It's the careless use that actually creates the trap. This is the exact spot where things can spiral totally out of control and rapidly undo all of that great defensive work you've set up in the previous steps. This is where we run into high-interest debt, which is basically debt that grows so incredibly quickly it makes it harder to reach your financial goals. Honestly, you should think of high-interest debt exactly like quicksand on our obstacle course. The more you carelessly swipe those cards and carry balances from month to month, the faster that debt compounds. It's actively pulling you backward, further and further away from the financial freedom we talked about at the very beginning of this explainer.
All right, time to pivot. Now we're going to move away from those defensive strategies like saving, prepping for emergencies, and dodging quicksand, and transition straight into offensive wealth generation. Mistake number 4 is simply not investing. Once your defense is completely locked in, you have to play offense. Just hoarding your cash in a standard checking account isn't going to get you across the finish line.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the concept of inflation. This is the exact reason why keeping all your money stuffed in a traditional savings account just won't keep up over time. Inflation is this invisible threat that silently eats away at your purchasing power year after year. And that is exactly why learning about long-term investing is fundamentally necessary. Investing is the actual engine that helps your money grow, safely outpacing that invisible threat and truly multiplying your wealth over time.
And that brings us to our 5th and final hurdle. Mistake number 5, not setting financial goals. Think about it for a second. You simply cannot reach a destination if you haven't clearly defined where it is you actually want to go, right? The obstacle course has to lead somewhere. Without a specific target in mind, it is way too easy to just lose your motivation and drift entirely off track. You really need specific aspirational goals. Like step 1, maybe you want to buy a home. Step 2, perhaps your dream is to start a business. Or step 3, ultimately, you just want to retire comfortably.
Establishing clear, concrete goals like these is what keeps you focused. When you have a crystal clear target, every single dollar you save, protect, and invest has a dedicated purpose. It keeps your eyes squarely on the prize.
So, let's pull all of this together. The core takeaway here is that successfully navigating past these 5 specific mistakes puts you on a much stronger path toward financial success. By consciously avoiding the traps of spending everything you make, ignoring emergency funds, carelessly swiping credit cards, neglecting your investments, and just lacking clear goals, you dramatically strengthen your entire long-term financial trajectory.
If you want to keep refining these strategies, the clear next step is to subscribe to Finance Saga for more practical money tips every week. I absolutely, enthusiastically recommend tapping into that resource. If you want ongoing, highly practical tips to keep building your wealth and mastering the financial obstacle course we've outlined today, they are just a fantastic resource.
Before we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with one final, provocative thought to chew on. Which of these 5 roadblocks is standing in your way today? Seriously, take a hard look at your own finances right now. Identify your personal quicksand, define your ultimate destination, and start shifting that mindset today. Thank you so much for learning with me, and I will see you on the next explainer.